Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first session of Helô Talks, a podcast where you're going to open up your mind and practice a lot of English. And the first podcast, I have a very special guest. He was the mentor of podcast, my son, João Vítor De Carli. Hi, João Vítor.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you for the idea. But first, I would like you to start by asking you what is a podcast and why did you think about a podcast for my school?
So, a podcast is an audio show, but nowadays, it's also filmed, and it's a talk, it's a conversation, very informal conversation. And yeah, it's like a talk show, but it's more informal and has this format that we have right here.
Very nice.
So a podcast is becoming very popular. Lots of companies are doing podcasts because it's a format that people like to watch and hear. There's a lot of podcasts happening in YouTube right now, it was popularized by a YouTube channel called Flow, and they inspired on a podcast from United States called Joe Rogan Experience, and it has every day is growing a little bit more. Everybody's building their podcast,
Right,
and I thought it would be a good idea for the school.
Yes, and I really welcome the idea because although I don't know a lot about it, but I see as a very, very good tool for practicing the language and also learning about new things in English or in Spanish or in German, which are currently the languages that we offer here at school. And let me also take the opportunity to talk about the design of our room made by Brenda Gachet De Carli, my daughter-in-law. She's here now helping us, although she's not going to participate. But it was really, really lovely.
Yeah, made by De Carli Arquitetura e Engenharia. Follow on Instagram, decarli.arc.eng.
Great, because you see, Brenda was so sensitive and sensible to see the pictures of tourist spots, landmarks in English-speaking countries. So that's what inspired her. Well, João Vítor, but tell me a little bit about you. What's your major and where did you graduate? Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, I am a civil engineer. I graduated in 2021 in USP, São Paulo. And I work for a utility company, our energy power generation and distribution company. And we are focusing a lot on renewables now. We have strong commitments to decarbonization. So we have deadlines to deactivate our coal and gas power plants and substitute it with just wind, solar, hydro, and geothermal.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. So I think I can. Well, this first podcast, the idea is to first of all tell a little bit about the school and the projects because podcast Helô Talks is one more project, and we have lots of teaching learning projects at school besides the course itself.
So what projects the school? What are all the activities that the school does right now?
Okay, so we are a company of assessoria linguística, so we offer solutions in communication for adults in their jobs and people. So we offer a range of courses in the English language. So we have a traveling course for people who need English for traveling. We offer business classes, which are Inglês Comercial, for people who need English for work. We offer the regular courses, which are English in general, for people who need English for communicating in general. And also specific purposes, like the preparation for exams, like the TOEFL. We are a test center, so this is another of our projects. I am a test center here, so we apply.
Our certificated official...
to apply the TOEFL ITP. There is the IBT too, which is internet-based. But we apply the ITP, the institutional, which is necessary for master, master people who are taking the master degree in outside the country, or even in Brazil.
Many universities accept the ITP test.
It's a requirement, the ITP, And we also have the junior. There is TOEFL Junior. For teenagers to learn about tests, which is also a great training for the vestibular in Brazil.
So it's a very diversified portfolio we have
the
here
language, we offer the same for Spanish and German. Now, currently, those are the courses that we offer. We also offer translation, interpretation, simultaneous translation too. And we have English for children, teenagers too, kids and teens. And we have a range of projects for the teenagers and kids. Like, besides the course itself, we have, for example, we have garage sale during the year. We have a calendar, garage sale. Students use language buying and selling used goods. So the children, it's a chance for mothers to do a cleanup at home, pick up used toys or clothes, and then children bring to school, and we put everything in the garage, and then the children come and they sell and buy using language.
Oh, nice.
So this is one project. It's very successful because children even teachers. By the way, I sold your surfing board once.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Not using it anymore.
We bought it in Ubatuba.
No. A big one.
A big
professional.
One.
Yeah, I remember. You sold it? Garage sale? Really?
Yeah. And I sold it. Was cheap, but the boy was so happy. We also have now Helô's MasterChef, which is an updated version of cooking class. It used to be cooking class. It's a class of cooking teaching how to cook, and the students really it's a hands-on experience because we bring the ingredients and children learn how to make some kind of usually typical from an English-speaking country. And then this has become Helô's MasterChef. It has become a competition.
What foods, for example, you already have in the program?
The times of cooking class, we cooked brownies, cupcakes, scones, which is a British biscuit too. Scones, the name.
Scones.
We cooked pretzel. Delicious. We did a number of, but it's usually from an English-speaking country.
Yeah.
And last year we cooked American chocolate chip cookies, but that was a competition. So we had groups of children around tables, 4 or 5 students in each group. And we taught them the ingredients, the recipe, and then like MasterChef,
And what was the prize?
The prize was the cookies itself. They would take all the cookies.
Good prize.
And an apron. I don't have one here. It's at home. I could bring here
to show. Yeah.
It's an apron. It's written Helô's MasterChef, and there is a badge
with the logo of Helô MasterChef. Very nice.
Made by Ligulo Folhados. She made it for me.
Oh, really? And how often does the MasterChef happen? Once a year?
It's once a year. Each project once a year because it's a lot of projects. Like there's the garage sale, so as I was saying, and then the barbecue. We usually have a barbecue with them, and they have a very. They're really good, and they know about interactions because they are. Nashville Eagles is a missionary branch of Eagles. They are associated with MAI, Missionaries Athletes International. And they come to do missions, but also their summer camp. And they spend 2 weeks in Brazil. They call it Brazil Tour. And we are a kind of a basis here. It's we are like a headquarter for them in Brazil. My house and my school, and they do that very
and the church
pleasurably.
Right? The church,
yes, and the church
hosts them.
Hosts them too. Yeah, because it's a Christian. We would say it's a Christian project because they are missionaries, and I also treasure the possibility to share Christ with everyone. So for us, it's a very, very good opportunity to do both, to talk about God and the love of God and using the language. So I would say this is one of our biggest projects here at Helô De Carli, because it is we try our best in order to put real life context in our classrooms. Our books bring this also. This is the communicative approach, which is the method of the school, and this is the turning point. This is the big thing, because Americans they usually come in a group of 10, 15.
And it's good for the students to have contact with people that has English as its first language, the real Americans.
For sure, because that's a real life experience, and we try to do our best, but we are Brazilians. It's not the same as when they come. So it's a very special opportunity. So this is one of our projects too.
So if every student of this school can have this experience at least once a year.
Yes,
to talk with
all
real
ages.
American.
Yes, all ages.
That's really nice. Very interesting.
It is. So we have other projects too. Another one is a competition of spelling. This is for the children.
Okay.
Because in English-speaking countries, they don't learn like how to separate syllables, or because
Really?
Brazilian, like Portuguese language. They don't. They do spelling because the English language, the sound does not correspond to the spelling of the words. So it is a practice in the schools of native people whose English is the native language. And then we also have the name is Spelling Bee. It's a competition of spelling. The children, they feel nervous, but it's a very, very nice thing for them to learn.
Why is it called Spelling Bee? What does bee has anything to do with?
I don't know.
Spelling?
The insect is really the symbol.
Yeah.
It is the name. I guess it's because of the letter B. The word bee is really the sound of the letter B.
Okay.
And B-E-E is the translation for abelha. I think that's why, because I think it's the only letter of the alphabet which is really a word. It's the word. I think that's why.
Y is another one.
Oh yeah.
But B is is better
I think
for
it would be like spelling Y.
Yeah.
Because B is a more used letter. But that's a good question. I really can't say.
So what other programs, activities?
Let me see here, because I wrote down. Another project we have is English in the third sector. Do you know what it is?
No. What is the third sector?
The third sector is the category of students who are needy, people who like children from the public schools, the poor neighborhoods, and they don't have a chance to be in a language school or even to have access to learning a language. So there are institutions, the ONGs, the non-profit groups, and we offer English classes there. I have students here, good students, fluent, young students, teenagers, and they go to that school. We have a partnership with Núcleo Nova Vida. Núcleo Nova Vida is an institution which gives classes and all kinds of activities. Like they have a psychologist, they teach music, English. This is where I'm in. I joined them. They have all kinds of classes, and they take children out of the streets because they are in one period of the day they are in their regular schools, and then in the other period they go to Núcleo, and then they have meals, they have food, they have all kinds of classes, and this is the third sector.
Oh, nice.
It's called Inglês no Terceiro Setor, and we offer that, of course, for free for the children.
It's a voluntary activity.
Yeah, we do volunteer. And we also, the projects we have here, we do there too. Like Garage Sale is a project that we do there at Núcleo. And it's a chance also to teach our children to donate.
Mm-hmm.
So then the children at Núcleo, they buy with fake money the products, the toys and books and, objects that our children, the wealthy ones, donate.
Okay.
So it's learning and that's the
very nice opportunity.
that's the idea of the school. The language, learning not only the language but learning other things as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
But how does it work exactly? For example, a teacher wants to be a volunteer. She just go to you and ask, I want to be a volunteer.
So I started myself teaching there and to get to know the place and all the norms and the rules of the school to get to know them better because of the church. The church is also, it's a partnership with the church too.
Yeah.
And then some of my teachers here also worked for Núcleo. And now I offer that to good students after a certain age. Like nowadays, I have, she's a teacher assistant, Elisa Ambrosetti. She teaches at Núcleo. She's a 16-year-old girl, but she's very, very fluent in English. She studies here. And then, but I mean, it's it's a partnership that I do to Núcleo, but I pay Elisa to go because it's an encouragement for her, and then nice. It's a way for me to, instead of giving the money to Núcleo, I pay Elisa, and then we offer the classes. That's my way to help,
Very nice.
And so it's a number of, and now the new project is here, the podcast, because we have the idea to also give my teachers the opportunity to give more creative classes, because they can come here with their students. Yeah, and so the teachers are also very enthusiastic and encouraged to come and do. So
who would you like to invite? Do you wish someday would come to Helô Talks?
Oh, there are
John
lot
Piper.
Of people, for sure. Well, the idea is if we can connect people from TV and then we can capture the sound. I would invite a lot of people. For example, the Americans from Eagles, because they are very, very good, strong Christians. It would be very nice, for example, to interview G or Juka. Yeah, because they're teachers.
The problem is the IT department.
Yeah. Yes.
The IT department, guys.
We are developing. And so I have now, after my plan, the second podcast, I'll be interviewing Lilian Puzzi and André Lima, the two teachers that are involved. They are the mentors and the coordinators of one big project that we have here, which is Book Club. I almost forgot to talk about. So we are having now in the end of May the happy hour for Book Club, and I'll be interviewing them in our next podcast to talk about Book Club. Talk about Book Club. Book Club is Clube do Livro. We normally choose. We are in I think it's the 11th book that we are reading. We read twice a year, one book every semester, and we have.
Give an example of book you already have read.
Oh, we read lots of. Well, the first one was To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a book that is read in high schools in the United States. So André and Lilian, they usually prepare one class that we call Kickoff, which is a start.
Kickoff,
And then everybody who's interested, because it's a project, but it's not mandatory, so students are invited. And also it can involve the parents, because lots of students here, they have parents who speak English, so they can.
Parents can
come, can join. Former students,
that's nice.
Anybody who speaks English and likes reading is invited. So you are invited too.
Wow.
And then, so we have this first kickoff meeting, which is a class about the book. André and Lilian, they usually contextualize and they say they teach the important things that we have to consider as we read. For example, we read 2 books by Agatha Christie. Murder in the Orient Express. And you don't know. And oh my God. And then there were none. Which is E Não Sobrou Nenhum. Normally, stories of murders. And then André, he usually talks about the book.
But real stories?
Oh, no.
This book?
It's fiction.
It's fiction. No. But even so...
It's, yeah. So then André, cool. He comes with, explains the things we have to pay attention, in each story, the motives, the symbols, the symbology, the context, the time of the time when the story took place. And Lilian, she usually teaches a class about the author, the life of Agatha Christie. Like we also read C.S. Lewis. Can you believe we read Screwtape Letters?
That's a
difficult,
incredible.
But we did.
Yeah,
we did. Well, it's Cartas do Diabo para o seu aprendiz.
Yeah.
And we read in English, so we learn a lot about C.S. Lewis' life. It's a very interesting class, the kickoff. And the kickoff is the beginning. Then we usually have a time of 2 or 3 months for students to read. They read at home. Then we get together again for the happy hour. On the happy hour, we usually join everybody who has read the book. And we have a conversation class. We do lots of activities about the book.
So it's not a weekly meeting. So there's a time for you to read. After you read all the book, you gather, and that's more productive.
It is, yeah, because then it's something extra. Cool. It's not in class. It's not in the classroom time. Because we have this class, the kickoff, and then another class, and then a meeting. Which is the happy hour. We call it happy hour because it's food. Yes. For example, now it's a spoiler. We are reading Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. And he traveled around the world. So the happy hour, we are going to have food from around the world. We are planning a menu, the places that Phileas Fogg, the main character.
Can I come?
For sure. So we're going to have food from Italy, France, India, Egypt, China, Japan, because they are the countries where the story happened. He has traveled, around.
Okay, very nice.
So that's it.
These were all any more program?
I guess I talked about most of them. And now, as I was saying, the podcast is the one that we've been very looking forward to.
There are so many people, interesting people we can invite that speaks English. So it's very opportunity.
Yes, for sure. And also I think one of the biggest advantages is that we can be challenged because depending on the person we invite, we are challenged to think in a different way because there will be lots and lots of learning opportunities. Not only for the language, for lots
cultural
of topics that we can be exposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I have students, they are like engineers, doctors, and lots and lots of topics we will talk about. So we really feel enthusiastic about it.
So, lastly, what advice you would give someone who wants to learn English, besides joining Helô De Carli's Club English, of course?
Sure.
You would give to someone who needs to learn English fast? What's the best method?
Okay. I think the first thing is enjoy the language. Enjoy learning. And be patient. Because it's a lie if you say that any language can be learned fast. Because language learning is a process, is a training. Yeah. It's a training process, like sports. You will never be good and score goals and be good in like basketball, volleyball without training. And language learning is exactly the same.
Train as much as you can, like
be exposed
to the language.
The one of the biggest intentions of projects is this, to create enjoyment, to create this, to make people like, and be natural. Okay. So this is the best way for you to break barriers, for you to start and feeling natural and dedication.
Yeah, personally, for example, for me, I like challenges. I like things that challenge me. So if I was invited to a podcast in English, it would be a challenge. I need to learn. I need to.
For sure.
So I think people will feel challenged, and it will be.
And also be conscious that, still answering your question about the advice, about what I would advise. Remember, like building blocks. It's building blocks. It's little by little, and don't give up.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna see like the big building ready. And being exposed, and be generous to yourself, and celebrate each and every little progress. Another point. I think I talked too much, but anyway, I remember one thing. Don't be a perfectionist, because we are never going to speak like them, as they will never speak like us, Portuguese. So remember that we are learning for defense. We, practice will make permanent the language in our mind, not perfect. So as language, it's not like we say, it's a very common traditional saying, a prática leva à perfeição. But with languages, I would say practice makes permanent, not perfection. We don't have to be perfect. We have to communicate.
We have to.
And that's it.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about, like, I know that you studied German too.
I stopped.
You gave up?
No.
And the Italian, what is the biggest challenge, in your opinion, as a student? Because I'm a teacher, so I have my theories.
Yeah, from a student point of view, in my point of view, I stopped German because I entered this company that is Italian. So I realized that Germany was not strategic for me. But I did it sadly I was sad to do this because I really liked German. I like the way it sounds. I like the grammar and all this stuff, although it's very hard. But so I now focusing on English and Italian, especially English. Italian is a plus, but English is a must. But I'm now focusing on Italian because of that. And for me, and I think that for everybody, in general, I think speaking is the hardest part. Because, writing, you have time to correct, to erase and write down again. And to hear, hearing is easier because you can... search for similarities with words in Portuguese, and in the context you can also figure out what the word is meaning. But when it comes to talking, it's a lot harder, because you have to remember words, you have to be creative to build a sentence. So I think. Like, for example, participating in a podcast is an excellent opportunity to practice. And talk as much as you can. I would advise, talk with people in the language as much as you can, because watching practice. Because I watch a lot of movies in English, and my phone is in English. I expose myself, like you said, to the English language as much as I can, but talking, when it comes to talking, it's harder. So I would say try to participate in
really speak up.
Yeah, speak up. If you, for example, you make English classes weekly, 1 hour per week. Try to talk. Make this class a conversation class. Talk a lot, ask questions, because that's important. That's what you're gonna do when you enter a company, for example. You're gonna talk a lot more than writing.
And you have to be aware of that. As a student, that's what. And this is the big challenge for us teachers. We always talk about this at our meetings with the teachers. Get people to talk, to do oral practice, because. People keep quiet. They want to learn the grammar sometimes, and they want to know vocabulary, and they think this is going to make them talk. No, what makes you talk is talk.
Yeah.
As you said, try to speak the language, really.
Yeah. The best way to
And this is
learn
a
is
challenge.
doing. Yeah.
This is a challenge because it's an attitude that you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to.
And why did you want to be an English teacher? Why
Well, well, I've always wanted to be a teacher since I was a little girl. I used to play Little House, and I used to be a teacher.
Okay.
I have always liked that. And English, it came from curiosity. I thought it sounded good, and then I started studying as a teenager. I was good at it, and put together with the wish to teach. And that's why and in fact, it was a choice I had to make because my dad didn't have money for paying both, which is two things that I wanted to do when I was a teenager. I wanted to go to dance classes and English. I wanted, it was jazz in my time.
Nice.
And my dad said, "Hello, choose one," because I don't have money. And then I chose English, and then I never stopped.
Okay.
See, I was 14, I think.
14. Nice. That's it.
Okay, João Vítor, thanks a lot. Thanks for this great idea. We feel very excited about that. And wait for number 2. We're going to be talking about book club. And the idea of, again, I say the podcast here is to share Christ. And that's why I plan to invite good Christians to be here talking to us about different subjects. And I am the podcast is a chance. I hope this will serve everyone as a English practice and learning practice from lots of different topics. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.